right, welcome to We Are Something Else presents another episode of, let me get my buttons together, Smoke and Spiel. It's been a minute. It has been a minute. We got Jingling. We see CB. He was just here. But everybody from me, welcome. Good to see you. It's been a minute since we did Smoke and Spiel. Shout out to all our wonderful folks at Gen X TV, who we normally do Smoke and Spills at. Shout out to who else we got? Grant Thompson, there we go. DC Chappelle, WRSE 10%. Shout out to D Cup Customs, WRSE 15 over there. All right. How's everybody doing? Jen, how are you? Good to see you.
I'm good. I'm excited to talk about this movie.
Me too. CB, what's good?
Always a good time getting together with the homies, you know. So yeah, now I'm this is my second Smoke and Spiel that I'm actually like part of, you know. So now I'm feeling like I'm getting in the groove.
Centers, right?
Yep.
Centers.
Yeah.
Wow. Hey, what's good with you, bro?
It's hot as hell in Texas, and this movie was batshit crazy.
All right, well, speaking of which, let's go ahead and let everybody know what we are reviewing tonight. Tonight, we are reviewing the movie Obsession. Oof. Interesting, huh? What we got on? Let's just do this first. Obsession stars Michael Johnson as Bear, Indy Navarrete, is that how you say it, as Nikki, Cooper Tomlinson as Ian, and Megan Lawless as Sarah. But on that stats on Obsession.
So it may cut my my video off, but can you still hear me though?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay, that's wonderful. That's all what we need, people. Real quick. So what we got is this was a Plumhouse Productions, and what we need to know about that is if you know about Plumhouse, you know that they are in the horror movie upper echelon. They come out with some of the best that are out there.
Yeah.
But what we got is we got a budget. The budget for Obsession was $750,000. And as of right now, the box office says that it made $443 million.
Wow.
Worldwide. Yeah.
Wow. That's crazy. Like,
you talk about return on investment.
I undersold that shit earlier. By 400 million.
This is how you get those movies that become cult classics because
crazy
out of nowhere, right? But then also when you over exceed the budget like this, you're almost in status of automatically having to do a sequel, right? Or there has to be something else that comes from this, even if it's like different mini stories that's shouting out the one wish, right?
Yeah.
You know, there's so many things that could be born from this. I mean, the fact that it was a $400,000, investment to now you're like in the millions of profit and growing, right? Because now the word is starting to spread about this movie. Now, that's where I want to start it at. Like, how did you hear about this movie? Now, for me, I think it was just a random YouTube kind of commercial that popped up in between something else I was watching. I mean, I love horror movies, so it makes sense that this was kind of in the algorithm, but it didn't really tell you what it was about. Like the trailer was all of maybe 15 to 30 seconds. And that's where it kind of gained my interest, but it had kind of fallen off because I forgotten all about it because I saw it like probably early this year before it even started circulating. Jen, how'd you hear about it?
My kids wanted to go see it, and then I was like, Obsession, like, what is this? And then I looked it up on the trailer, and I was like, oh, okay, we'll try it. And I went, and after about 15, 20 minutes into it, I was starting to get blown away.
Yeah.
But it's very much a Gen X movie, I feel like.
Oh, and it hits on all Gen X topics.
Yeah.
EB, how'd you hear about it?
So I'm sure when it was in theaters and stuff, I had seen some of the marketing.
Mhm.
But otherwise, it was like last Wednesday, 2 Wednesdays ago, when I was told that we wanted to do this movie for Smoque and Spiel. So it's messed up because, you know, I haven't gone to the theater as often, you know, in probably the last like decade or so. So the fact that this movie ended up being accessible, like the whole streaming game got changed in the pandemic, man. So I feel like it at least worked in my favor this time around.
Yeah, because normally it's 3 weeks from cinema to streaming.
That's crazy.
And sometimes it's dual, like available both at the same time, because it literally went from renting it for $20 to now it's available on Amazon. Like, is it on Prime or wherever it is? Like, I don't
It's
even
on
think
Peacock.
Peacock. Did you have to pay for it on Peacock?
No, I mean, I already paid for Peacock.
Right.
So
that's crazy, right? There's a different, so how'd you hear about it?
I kind of do like a monthly scroll of new horror films that are coming out. You and I talk about it all the time. So it was on the radar because, like I said, I watch any and all horror films, and it seems like as soon as you and I get them on our platforms, we're already like, hey, you got to watch this, or tell me what you think about this. So you and I had already been in the movie mode of we're going to watch it and tell me what you think. And then we went from there. But just like a couple of other ones that have come out because, you know, not to get too ahead of it, but I felt like 26 has been a good year for horror movies so far.
Yeah,
so this is definitely stepping in that direction. And because you and I talk all the time, it's the horror film as far as coming up with just original concepts.
Yes,
had just kind of went out the window. So, you know, here we are. But yeah,
I was telling Kaleo that too. I was like, how many saws and screams do we need in the world?
Right.
Like when they just squeeze out a movie till like you can't do anything else with it.
And I think Saw and Scream are one of those, again, those movies probably that had the low budgets that over exceeded what they cost to make. And it became just we can put anybody behind a mask and just, you know, create these kind of movies with a bunch of jump scares and create a plot, you know, and put it out every 2 years. And then Saw's, I think Saw was another movie with I'm assuming kind of one of those movies where the word spread about how good it was, like, because the first 3 were amazing. Then from there, just like, we'll continue to do these as long as people go see them.
Printing money at that point.
Yeah, and I feel like nowadays, like, you have to internet scroll and do a search on what kind of movies are out there, because the movies is not what they used to be anymore. Like, the theaters just don't, like, not to get ahead of another movie, but Passenger, right? The only reason I knew what the movie Passenger was about, because again, I think the trailer had just popped up while I'm scrolling through YouTube. But, you know, anyway, so let's go ahead and get into it. Because this movie, this is it really only has 4 characters. That's how you stay under budget too, right? And a bunch of like extras behind the scenes. But let's go ahead and start it. The movie starts off with Bear. And straight to it, Bear is in a restaurant, and we know that he is, first of all, I want to say Bear is probably about what, 21, 22? I think
he's supposed to be 25. 25. Like that little friend group is supposed to be around 25.
Okay, 25. And it was hard to determine because I know when we get to her, Sarah's trying to go off to school or get into a school. So I figured kind of college age. Okay, so Bear is 20, let's say 25. And we are straight to it. He is confessing his love to somebody. At this point, we have no character analysis, but just off this break, like he's confessing his love to, I guess the woman ended up being a waitress at the restaurant, right? And he's just practicing his lines on her. And from there, you can just see how he was delivering his lines. This guy is soft as hell. He is your typical P word. He has no confidence in himself, right? You can just feel it. And his boy is kind of coaching him through his lines, or at least wants to hear his spiel, because Bear is in love with Nikki. Right? You get it off the break. They tell you this is what it is. The baseline of the movie happens off the jump. And from there, like, you see his boy try to coach him into, well, wait till the right time, right? Wait for the right moment for you to be able to shine with these lines. He didn't tell him if the lines are really good or not, did he? He may have said they, I can't remember if he said he was corny or not, but he, first of all, he did was just try to divert him from doing it right away. He said, you'll know when the time is right. And then also, Bear, I'm assuming he seems like a loner, like outside of his group. He goes home to an empty house. I think his grandma passed away. And then again, another thing off the break that you get that becomes a telling tale of the movie is Bear's cat, who he seems to be really attached to, has passed away.
There's a joke in there somewhere. I'm just going to say that right now.
A big joke. And it's in my head.
There's 1,000% a joke.
There's a lot of jokes. So real quick, let's just do character analysis on Bear. What's your thoughts on Bear, Jen?
Bear was really living his soft girl life. And I just did not like him for that. Okay? It was like he had no confidence, which girls pick up on and they really don't appreciate. And the only girls who like guys who are really like that generally want to use them for something.
And throughout the movie, they really honed in on how lack of confidence he
Yes.
All right, my bad. Go ahead.
Half the time it was like, Bear, say something. Bear, just shoot your shot. Like it's wide open for you. Just shoot your shot. Should have used another analogy. Just shoot your shot. Like, just tell her how you feel. I mean, a man that can't take a hit, like, come on. So yeah, Bear was just living his soft girl life, and I didn't appreciate it. I didn't appreciate him at all.
Was he annoying to you, to the fact of how soft he was?
He wasn't annoying. It was almost like, were you raised in a closet? Like, did you have a traumatic childhood that somehow prevents you from telling the truth? It almost gives me the sense that he might be a people pleaser, and he cares about more what people think about him than he cares about, like, living his truth.
Absolutely. Okay. CB, analysis on Bear.
I mean, the sentiments that I felt definitely shifted from the beginning of the movie as we got further in. I thought he was somewhat of a sympathetic character to start the movie out. But then, honestly, by the end of the movie, in my opinion, he might have been the main villain, you know? So it's interesting how they played all that.
He put Cat in the trash, y'all.
Hey, thoughts on Bear?
I mean, maybe not all cat is created equal. I mean,
definitely.
Jen, you lobbed that one up for me. I couldn't hold it. My bro CB's on here. We are definitely not going to act right.
I gotta stay on mute.
No, I mean, Bear's first initial introduction was he was a simp, right? He was the good guy that finished last. If me and bro was talking, it's the classic 80s, you know, kind of the loner kid, the guy that wants like the girl that's like, you know, 4 or 5 stages outside of his range. You know what I mean? Like he's a 3, but she's a 10. You know what I mean? So, you know, I don't know how
he was annoyingly past Ronald Miller. Can't buy me
without question.
He was annoying.
Question.
Even Ronald Miller had enough balls to at least put money on the table.
I'm sorry, Ronald Miller. Ronald Miller.
Yeah,
Can't buy me love.
It's a classic.
Oh, okay.
But he was kind of same character.
Yeah,
Okay.
but kind of like what CB said, not to like kind of go like closer into it, or at least go later on into the film. Though, if you look at it, though, all the things that we've said, people pleaser, he wasn't kind of, he was a soft pushover. Um, but I think character analysis as well, as though they dressed him to the T. Like he fit the actual character trait. Because when I
They
saw he
did.
had
You're
the
right, E.
cardigan on, I was like, "Yo,
Yeah.
it's already starting off. He's got a cardigan on." Like I was too done. I was like, I know what his character is.
And so the crazy part is I think the director or just even maybe even the acting, bro, just how it was written, how just like CB says, like the transition of how you felt about him from the very beginning of the
Yeah.
movie to you see the psychological kind of twist like he took, and then also becoming like I mean, I won't ask the villain question yet, but just become more of the mental health aspect of everything, right? Like you see how like the psychology, like he's playing like to live in this world that he created, that me as a viewer and people outside his circle know something is off, that's not right, and he's portraying everyday life like it's right.
Kaleo,
Because
it reminds me of when, you know how you say if you give somebody a lot of money, like their real personality comes out. So like when he gets what he wants, like his real personality comes out. But yeah, because you don't realize that that's in there.
right,
But yeah.
it got amplified, right?
Mhm.
Cooper, Bear's best friend, the guy who's kind of coaching him through his lines or his reveal and his his love for Nikki when if time finally comes around. So we saying that they're all in the 25 age range bracket. I might as well just put them there too, because if him and Bear are best friends, they look like they've probably been friends since childhood almost. I think they established that, right? So he's probably more popular, more outspoken. Obviously, he's helping set up the scenario so Bear can pour his feelings out to Nikki, letting him. He's there while he's coaching him through Bear while he's testing out his lines on some random waitress. But he at the same time, I feel like he's popular. Probably played sports. Like he's the complete opposite, right? They're like the yin and yang of friends, right? You got to have one that's this way, and you got to have one that's that way. And I think Cooper's that way as well, and kind of asshole-ish, right? I think he's obviously manipulative, right? He can manipulate his friend Bear. I don't know about the status of like if he came from wealth or anything like that. I never got that aspect of him because we necessarily didn't get there. But definitely just Jock seems like he could be a good friend of Bear, but also takes advantage of Bear's weaknesses.
I mean, that's funny. I don't mean to like jump in before you go around the panel again, but I didn't see him as that though.
That's
Ooh.
what.
I saw
Let E go next.
Hey, good.
so I saw him not as the jock. I saw him as just the one step up above Bear in the sense of like the social line of
Okay.
school, right? So he was like the friend that was just a little bit cooler, but that friend he wasn't cool enough to be a part of the jock friends, right? He wasn't the jock, so he was able to be Bear's friend because him and Bear were not that far off of each other as far as like, yeah, like you said, they grew up together, but like Bryce or whatever, he wasn't that. And the reason why I say that is because if you look at where he was at job wise, and then if you look at it from the standpoint of I mean we can't break this down without kind of leaning into some of the movie.
Yeah, you can leave. I mean,
How he handled the situation, allowing him to go all the way that way when he had already had
yes,
stuff going on as other and not to, like I said, we didn't write the movie, but in that sense, like a jock would have been like, you have no chance, like there's no reason why, like he would have deflected and said go somewhere else with that. And I think we talk about villains, like he's the quintessential early villain that started this whole thing, because had he been straight up with him,
Yeah.
this would have not been a thing. But again, character placement, I didn't catch him as a jock that was on that line. I just think that he was Bear's quintessential friend that was like in the next tier of social status at school, but not
He's definitely
jock
more popular
status.
because he was the one he had the group of friends outside of Bear because he was going to throw the whole party without inviting.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Jim.
I kind of see E. So I think maybe he was a little popular in high school. But you know how sometimes the most popular people in high school tend to peak in high school? So maybe like the only heat he had in life was really coming off of that. But he just wasn't. I can see why you're saying he's the villain, because he wasn't a real friend. Because a real friend would not let your boy that you've been hitting this girl that he likes. You're not going to let her go after him without telling him that happened. And sometimes I think he just wanted to see. I think because he knew he had already been with Nikki, he just wanted to see Bear strike out.
Or to see it. To see if he would, how far he would get. And
he wanted to see Bear strike out because it fed his ego.
Yeah. I got a question once we get there. Go ahead, CB. Your thoughts on Cooper?
Yeah. Echoing a lot of the sentiments of Ian Jen. But I think that this was a common theme, just the perception that you might have with no context when the movie opens versus once you're a half an hour, 45 minutes, an hour into the movie. Absolutely. Like your idea of this character changes, because initially in the opening scene, you can, with no context, you're just thinking, oh, my man is trying to help his boy out. Like that's all he's trying to do. And then once it's revealed that, they've actually been hooking up, off and on for the last couple of years, you're like, oh, actually, like it completely changes the context behind some of the stuff that he was saying in the beginning. It's like, oh, okay.
You're diverting
you literally, like, and for me, I'm like, oh, thought my man was out here helping his boy. In reality, he's sabotaging him, like, so it's, and this is something I'm sure we'll talk on. Multiple villains. I think that's kind of how a story like this goes. Like, for each individual section of the movie, you can basically, paint a different person.
I'm texting E while I'm watching this, right? He's already finished it, right? And told you, he told me watch it by yourself. Like, and it happens early. I said, okay, I see why he's saying watch it by yourself, and we can have that conversation if you want to. But as before it even happened, I'm texting E as like, yo, he definitely smashed Nikki. He definitely smashed. It just felt that way because I recognized. I was like, wait a minute, because it happened. He intervened too frequently, too early in the movie. We got at the very beginning of the restaurant where he was like, well, wait for the right time. And then we got it at the bar scene, which was no more than 15 minutes later, where, Bear is there heartbroken because his cat just passed away and he's getting ready to do it. And then boom, my man intervenes right there. Like, it's like, oh, this is becoming, it's starting.
Common theme.
Yeah, it's starting to see that way. So let's jump to that. To Sarah, right? Let's go to this. So again, we're in that age range of 25. Sarah, super smart. I got that artistic. She has probably more. I don't think anybody has any less confidence than Bear. I think she's on the level of more confidence than Bear, but she can be not popular, but definitely can make her own friends if she wanted to. I mean, because Bear just seems like he was the I don't want to say the worst of the worst, but he just seemed like you can't get no lower than anything else than that character as far as that confidence, friends, and all that. You know what I mean? She's super autistic. Again, she's waiting to get into some kind of art school. I don't know if it was said was did her dad own the company they work for? Was that
her dad owned the music store? Yeah.
Okay, so that's what. Okay, I knew that came up. Her dad owned the music store. She is off. Her first interaction, you could tell she's into Bear. Like I kind of felt that early because at the bar scene, she's the only one that really asked him about the death of his cat. Like, she's the only one was showing empathy or sympathy for him.
And gave him a hug, yeah.
Yep. Gave him a hug and everything. It was obvious, but he's blinded by the whole scenario.
By his obsession.
And then I feel like everyone knows that she likes him. Right? I don't think that's a big secret. I think Nikki knows. Cooper definitely knows because I think Cooper alluded to it too. But then, I think she's good at playing the role of the homie until it's time for her to find the lane in, or she's just there to help catch him when he falls.
Bear's also just oblivious because he's
idiot. Blind.
He's upset. Yeah.
So thoughts on let's start with you, CB, on Sarah.
In real life, Sarah's the kind of girl that could get me in a lot of trouble. So, she was she was my favorite character. So, she's the only person that, I'm talking about every character we've talked about so far. It's like, from the beginning to, throughout the movie, the perception of them changes. She was solid the entire time, man. Like that's
the whole movie.
That's how I felt. And tattoos, all that. Yeah. Yep.
Thoughts on Sarah?
I will have to second what my bro CB said. Sarah can possibly get you in trouble, but I say she can possibly get me in trouble for one reason and one reason only. Sarah knew and saw so many signs of Nikki in that moment of just like spazzing out at the party.
She had Sarah held all the secrets.
That your lapse of judgment said that I'm still gonna see this dude when the most craziest shit is happening to this girl. Like we clearly can see that shit is just not right. Like it's just exactly clip that one. That it's just in that moment. It's just like her lapse of judgment throughout the movie. That last one was enough to fuck the whole thing up, right? But that's why I said like Sarah is the one that can get you in trouble because she's the one. Because as much as we say she's the intelligent one out of probably the crew, her lapse of judgment in that moment is what really got her fucked up at the end, right? Because from a distance,
at the record store when they were sitting there looking at pictures, I thought that moment was going to happen then, but it came later. But go ahead, my bad.
Yeah. No, I felt that, and they did a good job at the. Again, you and I go into this, but scoring this allowed you to believe that something was getting ready to happen because they tensed that moment up if you hear it from the music the whole nine. But anyway, it just was that lapse of judgment with her that most, and Jen to probably hopefully back me up on this because Jen, you and I we've had some debates, but I feel like you should be with me on this one. Mm-hmm. There was plenty of signs where Sarah knew she should probably stay away from Bear.
Oh, it was fucking a bunch of signs.
Okay, so I'm gonna say this.
What Jen got to say.
Sarah, she comes across as like really great because she seems like a really great person. Bear put them all in a terrible situation, but it showed me like that was your friend, that was your girlfriend. And you mean to tell me like you didn't call, you didn't try to go to the hospital like afterwards? And Sarah, if the guy you were crushing on is in the bed with the woman who who he likes and who he has been with, why would you try to get him out of his house? I mean, like, that's just terrible girl code right there. It was almost like you didn't respect their relationship at all. You gonna call him and hold on, not like, ooh, after breakfast, can you come meet me? I want to open up this with you. You called him in the middle of the night, and you could already tell she was acting crazy. Okay, well, you take your chances.
Angela Boomerang.
Wait, hold on. And didn't she say, if you don't come out, I'm gonna come to the door? Like, she's like,
yep,
I'm
coming to you.
What?
I'm coming to you. I mean, like, that was disrespectful on, you know, I'm crazy right now level, because nobody cares about Nikki. But that's also crazy on, this is my, at this point, this is my friend's man. So, like, leave him alone.
Here's the question, because I think people are, and it's something that kind of hit me later on after I watched it. Like, we see the title Obsession, we're thinking that it's Bear over Nikki, but if you look at it, everybody was obsessed with somebody.
Yeah, a little, yeah. I thought, yeah.
So Nikki was Nikki may not have had it, but she was obsessed because she was definitely under spell, right? Sarah was obsessed with Bear. Cooper was obsessed with Nikki, like, and then so it was like
got them all,
right? So,
but I just thought it was funny. I this is kind of off topic, but I saw a movie called Lars and the Real Girl. So Lars was dating like a doll, and then eventually, like, the psychologist said, everybody treat the doll like she's real, and next thing you know, Lars is cheating on the doll with like a real girl that he met. That was healthy. But I'm like, you obsessed about this woman, you got her in a situation, and then now you trying to have a sneaky link with your friend. I'm like, man, good God. You were going after this woman for so long, and now you got her and you made her crazy, and now you looking at your other options. I can't stand it.
So let's talk Nikki. Same age. I guess we'll go with the 25 range. Nikki, from what I believe the narrative was, she moved there, right? She wasn't, at some point or did Bear move there? Whatever.
I think Bear moved there.
And she kind of brought him in as a friend, right? That's kind of an obsession.
She moved there, right? Didn't Bear say something in the movie about when you first moved here? Or what did he say? When I first moved here, you made me feel you were my first friend.
It was one or the other, right?
Yeah.
They took to each other when either one came to town, right? And so Nikki, I don't know if Nikki's really popular. I think that we may feel like she is because the movie is based around her, and you know the interactions that she's had with Cooper, and we just know that Bear is all for her. I'm going to put her in the maybe semi like selfish category, or just kind of into herself, because when Bear is at home, you know, after the cat died, like, she calls late at night. I mean, so they have a rapport relationship. She's calling him and they're having a conversation. He wants to stay in, and she's like, well, you know, she knows what to say to get him out the house.
But Kaleo, he never told her the cat died.
So they never had that conversation?
They had a conversation, but remember, he's sitting over there crying about the cat. Right. But because he's so soft,
he didn't tell.
Okay. Because he won't be vulnerable in any way, he never told her the reason why I don't want to go is because my cat died.
Right. Okay. But so he did say he didn't want to go out, but she still found her way to get him out of the house, which is fine, right? And what Nikki is, like, she's super hard to read because she gave Bear the friend zone vibes, but then she also gave, there was also like good camera cuts and pans where she's kind of like staring him down. Like they made the mood between the two, or the emotions that she may feel odd or awkward in the movie, just didn't know. Right. And then here we are at the point where right before he's getting ready to make the wish, he's taking her home, and she just outright blatantly asks him, do you like me? And at first, at that point, I'm like, she's definitely into him, right? I was like, she has to like him. But then I'm thinking, like, maybe to be messing with Cooper behind his back, knowing that his man really is into you like that too. Like, it was so hard to play and so hard to read if her feelings for Bear were the same. And they never gave you, maybe an inkling of that. So let's thoughts on Nikki. Kind of gave you the backstory plus. Go ahead, Jen.
Okay, so I have two things. Nikki had two things going on. One, I don't think she liked Bear. I don't think she was romantically interested in Bear. Because if you're really romantically interested in Bear, you're sleeping around with his friend in secret. Like, at a certain point, I'm going to back up off of that. I'm not going to keep doing it after 2 years. Like, I'm not saying she couldn't have been interested and they started it, but I'm going to back up off of that. And when she said, I'll like a person you'll never know, she was probably talking about Cooper. Because they were doing that in secret for so long. She's probably talking about Cooper. And the fact that it had been said, I think of you like a brother, and that whole poem she read, and the fact that when she would jump out of that wish body, when she would jump out of that wish, the person that she was like either wanted to hurt Bear or was like, oh my God, what am I doing?
Yeah.
But the other thing about Nikki that I saw is that Nikki didn't have any real friends in this friend group. Sarah didn't like her because she was liking the guy she liked her. Cooper didn't really like her like she wanted to be liked. And not saying that you can't be a friend and that happens, but Cooper didn't, he's sneaking around with her and then he's letting his friend try to talk to her. Like, Nikki didn't have any friends. And I can see how Nikki seemed like a cool girl. But when Nikki talked about in the beginning of the movie about love and romance, like Nikki, she didn't want to play with it, like with love anymore. She was like, I don't want romance. I don't want that book, like fake sensational stuff. Like, I either want the real thing or I don't want anything. And honestly, I'm thinking she was talking about Cooper because Cooper probably didn't like her back as much. So they were just sneaky links for like 2 years. So she was like, I'm getting out of this town and I'm going to go write about real love.
I mean, Cooper is really the only romantically linked person in the movie that she confirmed, had, CB, thoughts on Nikki?
I mean, like basically the central character, her and Bear, right? It's one of those things where you don't get a real big sense of the whole community, right? Like you get the one scene towards the end when they're out, and so there's a couple other like homies that are around that you had never seen in the movie up until that point or whatever. You don't really get a sense of this isn't like a movie that's taking place inside of like a high school or inside of like a college or something like that where you have that whole vibe going on. It's almost like the four friends have their own little universe. A lot of stuff is really contained, and within that universe there's a lot of Nikki might be the fucking sun, bro. Like in terms of how the stuff is, we might think maybe she, Jen saying that maybe she, Nikki's been what she's alluding to or feelings for Ian. I think it was clear that Ian actually had feelings for her, seeing how jealous he got once he realized, her and Bear started hooking up.
I've been calling him Cooper, but his real name the whole time, and his character name was Ian.
Ian. I was calling him because I was like, well, maybe it's not Ian. Maybe it's
generic,
Cooper.
All white people look the same, bro. You know what I mean? So, but for real, like Nikki, she, like I said, kind of like the center of what's going on, because Ian, in a way, I think comes off possessive, being like, hey, like leading his friend on and setting him up for failure. You know what I mean? Clearly Bear is obsessed. And then they might be homegirls. I don't know, but it's lady relationships are different than dude relationships. Right. I think that we all understand that kind of stuff. So very, very interesting character. And I don't think, and I agree with what Jen had said. I don't think that romantically she really cared for Bear in that way. They're like, when they were leaving the bar, Ian makes a joke like, get your girl home safe or whatever, and she says, "Ew." She says, "Ew, don't say it like that," or whatever. You know what I mean? Like so the way that I kind of took the whole thing is, she kind of got played the entire way. After like the first 25 minutes, you could kind of see her being a villain in a way before all the shit goes crazy. And then when the shit goes crazy, then you know what it is. But
right. And so here's another thing too about no one was being honest with anybody. Right. Sarah wasn't being honest with Bear. Like, she was just kind of playing the role of just waiting for the opportunity. Ian was not being honest with Bear about what was really going on, because I'm sure had he come clean, I think that probably would have nixed the way Bear felt about Nikki. And maybe it didn't, but it would have gave him a pivot, right? It wouldn't have put Bear in a situation to where Nikki calls him and she lost her. So let's get to the 3 wish. But then also honest, Nikki was never honest with, she asked Bear if he liked her, but she never really just came out right. She knew Bear was into her, but she never really came out and just put it to bed. Right? She never just said, "I'm not into you like that. I don't want to rock with you like that," or "I do like you. You just need to tell me so this can be that."
Wait, hold on. You talking about Nikki?
Yeah, like no one ever really.
But Nikki did say, "Do you like me? This is your time to tell me."
But okay, so that was the question asked, but she never confirmed her feelings for him to even, so no one. It was just a question. There was no.
Because when he said, "No, I liked you as a friend," she either would have said.
She would have said. She would have put it to rest.
Right.
But it never allowed anybody to get there.
I think yes and no, though, and not to kind of go back on Nikki real quick. I think so. Going back, Ian is what kind of set all the events going forward. Here's the thing I think, though, with that is Ian definitely told Nikki that she can probably not, about Bear. Like, Bear really likes you, but, what we do is what we do, right? He probably told her, "I really don't fuck with you like that. We really just on some, you know what I'm saying? I hit you when I just want some." Because I think they're not really friends. I think they all just coworkers. I think the notion of they are friends is not the thing. I think they're just coworkers that hang out on occasion, that they do have somewhat of a close thing, but that's all it was. Ian, being the person that he is, definitely knowing that he smashed Nikki and that's his homeboy, like that's his crush. I think Nikki was was also kind of the to blame, because she realized Bear's the safe out of all of this, but I can't rightfully go to Bear because eventually it's gonna come out that I was with his friend Ian. So I think that kind of plays into the role of when she's in the car, she's asking the question, why? If you like me, say something. Because I think in that moment, it's like, man up and say it. Like, your homeboy has already told me you like me. We done had that conversation while I was smashing that you don't know about yet.
Right.
Clearly, he hasn't told you because you would act differently towards me if you really knew what I was doing with your best friend. Right? And in the same sense, her playing that, that ill moment was also, I think, just the front, because it was in front of Ian, because it was still, I don't know, but I'm still teetering, tottering because I'm not into that like just said, I'm not into the romantic shit. But even when they said like it's been off and on, so it was just moments, right? It was moments. I don't think it was ever like a truly a thing where she was like, oh, this can be something, especially when it's too close. When you know that Bear is obsessed the way that he was with her, that I would never be able to be 100% with Ian because of Bear.
Yeah.
Oh,
Okay.
you're saying you think
So
that's why she wouldn't like him, even if she did a little bit?
yeah,
Oh, okay.
yeah, I think she knew that she couldn't play that, and that to me goes into, like you said, those moments when she wasn't obsessed, or when she would sleep, and her body, her moments of having conversations with him was, it wasn't so much like moments of like it progressed moments of despair, right? Of I'm
Yeah.
I'm I'm tired of where this is at because I can't control it, but also when she kept saying, and I know I'm fucking spoiler because we already getting there, but just the saying to go ahead and just end this, you know what I mean, at that moment, because she had already been tired of going through all the stuff. The earlier parts of it though that you were hearing was her still trying to be like, I don't know what's happening, and you could still do something because there's something in there, you know what I mean? But
Yeah.
that was still her place with Bear in that moment. It was never, I think, a romantic situation that she never wanted with Bear. I think she knew she couldn't have that because of the Ian situation, but also fronting in front of Ian, like,
Bro,
you may have that over me, but you're not gonna do that.
If Bear would have found out under different circumstances, I still don't think he would have cared. I think he
Yeah.
was that into her and that simped out to where like
Because nobody knew E.
he wouldn't have cared, right?
Nobody knew they had been together.
He would have been.
I think he would have.
He
I think
been,
he would have because
but I think he would
what's
still
what's the old girl's name again? My bad. What's the
Sarah.
other girl's name?
Sarah.
Sarah. I think Sarah would have been aggressively been a little bit more towards Bear had it come out about the Ian situation. Like she knew.
She tried to tell him. She tried to tell him at the music store when he had the sandwich.
God damn it. But what I'm saying is, in that moment though, right? Like if it's out in the open, meaning all four, like there's not, because they're like CB said, like they're in their own universe, but it also seems like each one are just kind of playing into each other at whatever times, right?
Yeah.
If it comes out and everybody knows now that Ian was smashing Nikki. Nikki knows that Bear knows. Ian now had to confess, yeah, I was me. Sarah knows. Sarah's now going into Bear like, I know you still not liking Nikki like that no more.
Oh.
She's more aggressive with. I think she becomes more aggressive with. This is the reason why that shit would have never worked.
Yeah,
but she was already aggressive in the situation, regardless. She was. I think. No one, that goes back to my theory of no one was straight up with anybody, right? No one, the only person that we knew had true feelings for somebody was Bear to Nikki.
Are those true feelings though?
And I'm saying true, he was obsessed.
Okay.
But I gotta say something here. In the beginning, like Ian, I didn't think that he really knew Nikki at all. I just thought they were smashing. I didn't think he really knew her. But he was right when he said she doesn't like all that romantic stuff. It was like you hit me with the real, or it's nothing. Like so when you throwing out your heart like that.
But so to counter that, when he went to sabotage Bear, when he tried to, what was her nickname? Something Nikki,
Freaky Nikki.
Freaky Nikki.
So that was
that CB.
But then when Bear called her that, she got pissed. It's like felt like she does. I don't want you to see me in that light because I want you to see me different. So that's why it was so hard to figure out like where the true feelings were, because I'm sure Ian treated her like Freaky Nikki, right? But when it came to Bear and he used that line on her, she didn't like
because it sounds like that was a name that she had gotten in high school for whatever reason. I don't know what kind of freaky she was in high school. But so if I'm a female, I don't want a dude calling me that.
But which dude? That's the
Sound
thing.
like Ian gave her
None of the
gave her that
dudes.
name.
That was, it depends on which dude though, because you already just smashing Ian for fun. There's nothing tied to that. That you are Freaky Nikki to him. Y'all are just smashing, right? There's no feelings tied to that. But if somebody you like calls you, references you outside of anything but what you want them to see you as, you're going to get. That's why I think she got mad. So maybe she really did like him, and he gave her the Freaky Nikki thing and just took her out. It took that whole thing out of context. As far as, I don't want you to see me as that.
If some chick is dropping me off, after a 7-course meal and all that stuff, and then she calls me Tiny Calves McGee, come on, man, like, nah, bro. It doesn't matter if that shit is funny when the boys are saying it. You know what I mean? Like,
right?
I personally, I think when it comes like that's just a name that it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter who's saying it. That's not the name that, like, she's not cool with that at this point in her life.
CD, so, I wouldn't want people calling me Big Titty Gentry. Like, I don't care if it's true or not. I don't want people calling me that to my face. Y'all can say what y'all want behind my back.
These are all people who drive Altimas, by the way. So I mean, that's just.
There's a reason why they're being removed from the marketplace.
There you go. All right. Okay. So Bear ends up in this shop, right? And we don't have to give the whole thing away, but I think we've kind of done a good job of painting the picture. We have to at least talk about how the movie shifts. So Bear ends up at some place trying to replace Nikki's necklace, right? Because they were on the phone. She lost the necklace. He went to replace down the drain. But instead of getting the necklace, he ends up buying a token or a little cheap thing that they call was it One Wish?
One Wish
Willow.
One Wish Willow.
And
with like a willow branch.
With the One Wish Willow, you say your wish, snap it in half, and everything's supposed to come true. Bear even looked online to see, the people's reviews on it. It just seems like a novelty thing that may not really happen. So after the whole car scene, and Nikki was like, if you like me, tell me now. He still chickens out and doesn't say anything. And while he's on the doorstep, before she can really shut the door of her house, he shifts the movie completely. And the wish is, I wish that Nikki, whatever her last name is, loved me more than anybody else in the world.
He said it's stronger than that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I don't really.
Which I think plays into a bunch of the shit. How he said it.
How he said it. CB, how he said it. Yes.
Like, wish you loved me more than anybody in the fucking world. Like emphasis on the F. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like, that's different. That is different.
Right. And then you get that what becomes a figure throughout the movie, just a dark silhouette of Nikki throughout, but just standing there. And I mean, up until in the movie isn't really like thrillerish or scary-ish, but if you had to have a moment of like terrifying moment, it was the way they captured just a silhouette in the dark. You can kind of see it in the picture right there. Under light, you still can't see her, which is even more in depth of what the story is telling. She's standing under the porch light and casting a dark shadow.
Because she was taken over by that wish.
So okay, let's go to the first. Here's your question. So do y'all think, how much in control do you think Nikki was of herself throughout the movie?
She wasn't in control of herself at all. She only could be in control of herself when it was almost like the movie Get Out. She was in there, but her essence, her spirit, who she was kind of pushed back. And the other person could take over and was running the show. So she could only like break free when either she would try to fight her way through it, like when he was on the ground scared like a little soft girl, talking about you're scaring me, Nikki, or when that entity was asleep. When the entity was unconscious, she could kind of come out.
Look, I'm gonna say it like this: you got one time for me to wake up and I see your silhouette in a shadow, and then you talking about go back to sleep. What?
Baby, she talking about stay.
Put it on a pedestal.
I would have had all my stuff in the bag.
Didn't she
all
have
my stuff in the bag.
Didn't she have a plant in front of her face like this?
But you know, Kaleo, I was thinking the reason why she had that plant in front of her face is because she was like Nikki was trying to come out, and I think she was trying to disguise her face until the wish could like get it back, like completely take over her body.
So I was obviously, after watching the movie, had to dive into the YouTube rabbit hole and all that. And I agree with some of the theories that they were talking about on there, where it had to do with if she saw her reflection, like that's when like she snapped out of it. And that's why, Kaleo, you talked about it earlier, when Bear and Sarah are in the record shop and they're looking at the pictures that were in his lunch, and there's Bear and it's like you, and then it's the picture of her and him and it says not me, like there. And literally it's like the scene in the bedroom when she's holding up the flowers, there's a mirror or like a television or something which is in the background, which there was a scene earlier, she caught her reflection and snapped right out of it. Like, so I think there's something to that. You know, so you know, there's just some wild stuff in terms of like her, again, not being able to see her face a lot of the time. That shit was crazy. Great cinematography as far as I'm concerned.
Oh, that was so good.
But if she saw her reflection, like that was like the thing that like snapped her out. So did you catch that? Were you thinking the same thing?
Yeah, no, I picked it up. And even more so if you look at how the house started to change while she was there, and not just because she was just like solely like in the house, like it was all the things that the entity was doing to keep her in that mode all the time, right? The shades, they never were open, they were always closed, right? So she didn't really have that,
no reflection from the window.
Yep. And then even like the TV at the TV scene at the end, you know, kind of a situation with that. So the key element of the reflection, the gateways, you know what I'm saying, stuff like that, when it comes to like just the presence of you know, you're not being yourself, you know, kind of looking in the mirror when you see you know, you don't really see you type situation to get out. It definitely had a lot of representation. I think the portion of it was also the changes in and again, this is just call it the movie buff in me, is the every time we saw Nikki, the music itself was darker and darker, just like how she was. And then even in the end, how she 1000% looked like Sarah after she had and that, yo, tattoos, hold on. She had the tattoos, she had the
She
dark
had the
stuff, like
Sharpie tattoos.
she did, right?
Look, Ian wasn't the only homie she smashed.
Oh, that's crazy work. That's crazy work. But
no.
Damn it.
right. But like, you know what? And then in the crazy part to that was when, because the glass was broke, right? And she had made the comment like, you gotta fix, like you gotta help me, right? In that sense, if you listen to it, it doesn't sound like possessed Nikki. It sounds like Nikki, like, because we're in a world of shit, we have to hide this or we're both going to be fucked. Go back and watch that part when she makes that comment to him and listen to it, because the whole part of that scene is so dark. And then in that moment, because guess what? it's the way that she talks to him. It's
You really could
calming
see
in
her
the
face
sense.
too. Yeah.
It's
We really could see her face,
calm.
because a lot of times that other Nikki, yeah, she's enveloped in darkness.
The
I'm trying to
poem
tell
she
you,
read at the party.
crazy word.
Oh
And
yeah, at the party she was both of them. She was only her real Nikki when she was beating herself in the face with that glass.
glass. Yeah.
After she saw her reflection, I think in like the beer bottle or in something that was there. Like,
But
The
how
only thing about I'm sorry,
No,
Kalea.
you good.
The only thing about the reflection that I'm not seeing is that, remember when she first kissed Bear and she like jumped off the bed, like, oh my God, what am I doing? I don't remember there being a mirror right there.
it's in that's the same room. That's the
Yeah, but I don't
Yes,
remember
but
being a mirror for her to see right there when she was
TV's there,
at the
right?
headboard.
but it was also with that the possession of physical contact in that moment because it was still new. You know what I mean? So
Okay.
it wasn't in that moment of like full takeover because again, I feel like as the days went on, Nikki, the real Nikki, was getting weaker and weaker. So she didn't have that same fight that she had
Right.
as all that stuff was
I could
happening.
see
So
that.
yeah.
Because I'm
So-
like, when she went in the bathroom, she was still crazy Nikki, and I know it was a mirror right there. Remember after she
she was like
did all that
avoiding.
stuff to herself?
She was like avoiding going into the bathroom. She was like avoiding staying out of like mostly all that stuff. So that's how I was taking it. Like
Okay,
when
see
she
that.
came back into the room
Okay.
with the plant, like covering her face and shit.
Yeah.
Like, and I mean, yeah.
So-
Kaleo, you can keep it moving. You can keep
No, you're good. No, you're good. So, but then this goes into the psychology of Bear now too, because we just talked about everything Nikki had done. Like at this point, she's moved into his house, right? The entity or the wish is keeping her there, right? And none of this stuff seems out of the ordinary to him. I mean, he knows all of a sudden. Like it started off with a really good like rom-com montage of them watching
did do
TV and like her staring at him, and he's like turning her face back to the TV, whatever. But then like you have the moment where she doesn't want him to leave either, and the big elephant in the room as they're having this conversation that he has to go to work. And the fucking doors, like the door is like duct taped all the way.
If you
When they
can't
showed
leave,
that door,
you might as well stay.
yeah, when they showed
That's
that door.
some shit like
Because
that.
I was trying to figure out, why isn't she going to work, or why isn't she going to work with him? But yeah, it's true what you said. The thing is probably trying to keep her. The entity is trying to keep her in the house.
At least once.
And say it again.
She went to work at least once, but she stared at him the whole day.
No, but remember she said she quit her job.
The next morning.
Yeah.
Remember she said she quit her job.
Good job.
So that's why she never went back to the music store. Because I was like, well, why didn't she ever go back to work? Like they could have went back to work together.
She had
But
like
she
that
had
2-week notice conversation.
Yeah.
Then Ian, so the whole door tape scene, and then she just waits at the door like for him for like a puppy. That was some of the like. Are you talking about just the small nuances of making stuff kind of like psychological and like taking it to that level of being horror? Was this rated R, by the way? I meant to ask.
I think so.
I'm assuming so.
It had to be. But yeah, so that whole waiting at the door scene, and then like Ian is in disbelief at everything that's like he's pissed. Like it's like he didn't want her, but then all of a sudden she's all into Bear, and he's trying to play it off like he didn't care, like, but he's pissed.
Because I think he did want her. He just didn't want anybody to know he wanted her. Probably because in high school she was Freaky Nikki. Or after high school she was Freaky Nikki. But he didn't want people to know, but he wanted her.
No, I think he was pissed that Bear actually got her.
Okay.
Because
He never
remember exactly. Bear was never on his level like that. He was never concerned that Bear was never ever going to be able to get with Nikki. He was not that. So to him it was what the fuck? Like shit, am I losing my shit? Because if Bear's getting what I'm getting, this a problem.
So it's saying something about me, right?
Here's the
But
point.
that's the only reason why Bear was with Nikki, because he wanted being with Nikki to say something about him. That's what I mean. He didn't really love Nikki.
Is Bear really getting Nikki? Because that's
no, but that's the whole point.
Watch where she's just like staring off into a blank kind of like dead space while they hooking up.
One of the scenes towards the end, he's like addressing the entity directly, yo. Like he knows it's not her, man. That's the fucked up shit. Like, because it's like he knows this isn't her. He's like trying to coach it through, And when he goes into the shop and is like, "Yo, can I alter my joint?" And they're like,
right.
"Alter it." Right. Talking about alter it. You wanna go back? You want to cancel it? He's like, no, I don't want to cancel it. I just want to change it a bit because
I mean it's too obsessed with me right now.
No, but that's what I was saying in the beginning. Remember when I was saying that he's a people pleaser?
Yeah.
When I said that, I was meaning that he cared about what people thought about him, which is why he never really made the correct moves that a man is supposed to make in life. He was like too. So this is what I mean. If everybody kind of liked Nikki, because you could tell she was the cool girl, then that was going to make him look cool to other people. So it was like he was obsessed with her because he thought those things that he thought about her were real, but he wanted other people. He wanted that to be a projection of who he was to other people. Like, if I could get this girl, all my problems are going to be solved. If I could get this girl, she could bring me up to cool status. But I was like, you are not cool, because I just want to hear from y'all. If you turned around and your girl duct taped your whole door, I'm talking about it looked like she had a Costco-sized roll of duct tape and duct taped your door, are you just going to politely go over there and open it?
Yeah, I'm not making any sudden moves. So yeah, I'm politely opening the door until I can get out the house, and then.
And you ain't coming back, right?
No, hell no.
I ain't coming back.
But I'm saying, yes, I see that. I'm gonna turn around and be like, "Oh, okay, baby, all my stuff in a bag."
Let's address. Go ahead.
No, real quick, but I don't want you to go after that because we got to get to some other shit. I feel what you're saying, Jim, but I don't think Bear was worried about being cool or what other people thought. I think he was actually more self-centered, and he just wanted Nikki for himself, and it didn't matter about what anybody else thinking. I think also, and maybe it could be a foreshadowing, but like CB said, like in that small crew, it wasn't so much that it was like, look, I got Nikki to Ian, or look, I got Nikki to Sarah, or whatever. It was just like, for him, it was a selfish moment of, I just want her and nothing else even matters. So I don't think it was the popularity thing of what he wanted in the sense of like what that was going to look like with him being with Nikki.
Yeah.
I just think it was him being the villain of being a self-centered, everything was about him. Because if you look at his lifestyle, nothing spoke of, once I get Nikki, I'm changing how I said. He was still the cat dude, even with her.
Right. But I'm saying, I think it was all of that, E. I think he wanted Nikki to love him, but I think it still came from a place of when he went out with her, and like the other guy wanted to sit with her. And like, you could tell like she was that girl that the dudes wanted. And I think he knew what that was going to make him look like to all of those guys in the bar. But also, remember when they came home after that night and he said, can you just act like Nikki? Can you just act like Nikki? Because I think he would have still been crazy if she was just crazy in the house. But it was like, you crazy out in the street? Nobody's going to believe you're
doing
Nikki.
The crazy shit. He wanted to live the lie.
Right. But I can't live the lie if you're acting crazy out in the street. Because now nobody wants you.
Jen. We're in real life. If we're living a lie, it's really bad out here. It's worse than we thought.
So look, I wouldn't have been able, like, it would have ended for me the next morning I woke up and my cat was on the ground in the kitchen. In which that scene, just, you see like the brief moment that Nikki breezes past him to walk into another room while they're focusing on it, like, great cinematography. Like, it gives you a moment of chills but the ongoing theme of this damn cat rearing its head back throughout this whole movie is crazy. Now, what do you think the cat represents between we know for Bear it was something, it was his, he loved the cat, but what do you think it represents to Wish Nikki, or Nikki it represents to her for it to keep coming back into this movie?
I think that okay, so I'm gonna say this. Because Wish Nikki is not a human, she's learning how to be a human. Because remember when she said, I can be Nikki, I can be Nikki. She's learning as she goes. So when she first gets there, she was like, oh, he loves this cat. Let me make a memorial for this cat. Let me do things to say that, oh, this cat, because she doesn't know how to act like a human. She doesn't know how to really behave like real Nikki. She hasn't been here long enough, meaning that Wish entity hadn't been on Earth long enough to understand that that's inappropriate. But I also believe that cat is a metaphor for how Bear treats things. Okay, so you have a cat in the house. You say you love the cat, but you leave pills out, your grandmother's pills on the ground, and the cat gets to eat it. So now, and also, you see, remember at the bottom of the pill bottle where it says "do not eat." That was written on there for his grandmother to not eat. So you just leaving pills out around the old woman too, and then just telling her do not eat. So it was like
a cat can read, you know what I mean?
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. Obviously, a cat can read, so he was probably left there for the grandmother.
No, and it's on the bottom. You know?
It's on the bottom, so the grandmother was probably like, "Oh, I don't know, a snack," and he was like, "Do not eat." So, but you leave these pills out. And the cat died. And then he doesn't even, he's so lazy and unmotivated. You don't even get a cat a burial. You don't take the cat out in the backyard. You don't dig a hole and put the cat in it. You just throw the cat in a trash bag. Once it's too much for you, you want to get rid of it. And I think that's the metaphor for a bear and the cat. It's like he treats everything probably how he treated that cat.
Cat can be a double, triple entendre.
I'm not mature enough for this shit.
So look, I mean, we can wrap it up. So the folks watching will stay in tune and want to watch it. We haven't given everything away. I mean, we've talked in circles, but given a good amount of character analysis, scene analysis for people. If it interests you, you should watch it. So let's go around. Let's finally address it. Who's the villain of the movie?
Bear.
I think he's the main one, but yeah. I think they're all. I think you can make the case that during different sections of the movie, and again, I might be biased here, but it's basically everybody but Sarah. Basically, everybody gets to be the villain at some point, except for Sarah.
I got you. All right, and then
Ian's the villain.
Okay. Because he could have just put an end to this at the very beginning.
Yep.
And when I come to you for help, don't ask for $1 billion. Get me out of this situation.
That shit was absolutely wild.
And then where do you what happens to Nikki next?
Oh, Nikki going to jail.
If she doesn't off herself, then she's going to jail forever because they got her taking the gun. That's probably on camera. And her prints are all over it. She literally tosses it out of because she was holding it. She tosses it away. That's one of the last things that happens in the movie. So her prints are all over there. Her 3 best friends are dead. She's probably covered in all of their blood. You know what I mean? So
one of them, and the other one's kind of taped to a chair in the corner.
And when they find all that money in Ian's house, they're gonna think somehow that must be tied into it.
Yeah. Okay. And one last thing. What? Actually, 2. What would you wish for if you had the one wish, Willow? Anybody got a?
I mean, obviously, for Nikki to love me more than anything in the damn world. What are we talking about?
I'm cracking that thing on $1 billion.
Yeah.
Honestly, what would be funny is I'm not even asking for a 100% hit rate, just like a normalized regular person. If I think I should get these shits on sneakers, I get them. Like that's the wish, because if we're talking about shit that would never happen, there we go. Fiction. We can make a movie about it.
Fee. Anything?
Nah,
He got some. He just don't want to say. That's all right.
Nah, I'm keeping that shit to like I'm an old man and then decide to like do some crazy shit before I check out. I don't know.
Okay. All right.
Oh, I'm gonna wish for a 2012.
There you go. There you go.
What about you, Kaleo?
It might have to be the sneakers thing. Or the money. Most people would probably go for money. At this point. Yeah.
The thing is like you feel like this is one of those joints where every wish has like there's a dark side to it.
Yeah, no matter what you.
So, in my opinion, if I'm choosing sneakers, the app, the only terrible thing that's going to come of this is like every week there's a new executive whose son was using the company credit card. You know what I mean? Like that shit can't come back on me like all of this other stuff.
See, you got to write that wish out before you say it and make sure like
specific and hope there's no.
You got to get a lawyer to look at it. Like, okay, there's no loopholes in what I'm saying, right? Yeah.
They would find a way.
Yeah. Easy enough. I think it would be like, I just wish like all the bros get every dub that they want for sneakers.
Keep it simple.
Keep it simple.
Something tragic would happen. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, it's called storage.
They'd be like, yo.
No more storage.
No matter what, right? All right. So let's go ahead and rate this bad boy on a 0 to 5. This is Smoque and Spiel. Smoke rings. What are you giving this movie? CB.
I'm gonna give it 4 smoke rings. I actually thought that that's actually the key. This joint made me think more than I thought I would have. So I'm gonna give it credit for that.
I
give it 4. Originality, scoring. A small cast that's able to demand it. Yeah, carry a movie like that on that level is crazy. Good writing, and like I said, I think it's a big production to stand up when you have the word Plumhouse behind your movie. So it did very well for what it was supposed to do.
Yeah. Jen,
I got to give it 5 smoke rings. 1 for originality, because where's the originality been? Right now, the originality has been in horror, and that's about it. But the idea that I'm going to give it 5 because these studios don't have to do all of that anymore. Like, let these young directors or let these directors actually do what their vision is, and don't go and try to storyboard it and make it different than how they anticipated it. Like, I think too many people get involved, and then, we end up with these, like, the story starts to get whack after a while. But I love the originality.
Yeah. I'm torn. I might go with the bros. I think I'm gonna do 4 because there's probably room for growth that they could have done in the storyline. There may have been 1 or 2 inconsistencies, but I mean, all in all, it was a really good movie. I think that I'm teetering between the 4 and the 5 because I think that if they run it back and they think of something, I think the expectations are going to be too high, which typically happens. We have a great movie or a good movie that when you run it back, the expectations are always too high and it's a letdown. And I'm like, this probably maybe the only chance that I could give it a high score, but I'll stick with the 4. And if they do something, if they decide to run it back, which they can, because the One Wish Willow is an open story one way or another. You can go to a mini series. You can do kind of my idea. I mean, I'm sure they thought about it. No idea is original, but they should do like a creep show kind of thing where they do mini stories with the One Wish Willow and maybe.
Kaleo, I think I heard something about them doing that.
And that would be, you could tell many stories, tie them all together.
Yeah.
That's what the director said that he wanted to do next with it.
Yeah, I think that's a great idea for something like that. Don't try to come out with another movie again. Do that. I would watch
He
that
just
every
said-
time.
Yeah, he just said he made the comment that each wish doesn't demand an hour and 40 minutes. That some of them are
Yeah.
shorter because just the outcomes don't, have all that time. So, I mean, it could be worse. I mean, but shout out to them to getting all their money in the box office and then going directly to stream because then you get more money even after that.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Oh, Kaleo, can I say one more thing about The Wish before we go?
Yeah.
I think the reason why The Wish, because remember the people in the store said, I got my wish, it was just fine. I think he was corrupted. What he wanted wasn't good. So his wish didn't turn out good.
Part was already
The source was bad. So the wish ended up being bad. Like the wish ended up being every, like, I don't know, neurotic feeling that he had.
Yeah.
Personified.
It makes sense. It makes sense. Because I feel like if you make a wish for someone else, I feel like your heart is there. Like if I wish so and so had perfect health and was doing okay in life, that's a wish from the heart. Like, I couldn't, I don't think that would flip bad, but who knows? I mean, like you said, it could be intent on the person who holds the one wish willow.
Yeah.
But yeah, this has been another great episode of Smoque and Spiel.
Thank you, guys.
No, thank you. Hopefully we'll get to do another one of these soon, sooner than later. But yeah, go check out Obsession. Is now streaming on Peacock.
Yep.
It's worth it. It runs about an hour and 40 minutes.
Yeah.
Something like that.
Mhm.
Other than that, go to WRSEpodcast.com, buy yourself some merch. Be on the lookout for everything else when we come back. All right, y'all. Peace.
Peace.
Bye.